This is your weekly report on corruption in the Philippine government. Administrative charges are being prepared against the 7 police officers considered persons of interest in the 10th of April shooting of confessed drug lord and mayoral candidate Roland Kerwin Espinosa. Colonel Dionisio Apus Jr., Leyte Provincial Police Director, said he expected the administrative charges to be resolved sooner than the criminal cases. During our command conference, it was emphasized that administrative charges must also be filed against them, and if found guilty, they should be dismissed from service, he said in an interview. We anticipate that once the administrative proceedings are in motion, they will move faster than the criminal complaints, he added. The Leyte police filed on the 14th of April charges of illegal possession of firearms and violation of the Commission on Elections gun ban against the 7 police officers before the Leyte Provincial Prosecutor's Office. This came after 9 of the 14 firearms surrendered by the arrested police officers, who were just about 200 meters away from the crime scene when the shooting happened, were found unregistered and lacked proper documentation. But paraffin tests conducted on the 7 police officers showed no traces of gunpowder on their hands. Apus stressed that the cases they filed against the respondents were just initial as investigators continued to pursue leads for the possible filing of frustrated murder complaints against the 7 police officers. These police officers were inside a private compound in Barangay Tinagan, Albura Town. Leyte to reportedly serve an arrest warrant against a certain individual on the 10th of April, the same day Espinosa was shot and wounded. It was still unclear if the 7 police officers, who were under restrictive custody at the Philippine National Police Eastern Visayas Regional Headquarters in Palo Town, Leyte, had a hand in the shooting of Espinosa. Apus said the investigators were careful in preparing the cases so that the prosecutors or judges would not dismiss them for lack of evidence. There must be certainty of conviction, he said, stressing that complete and credible evidence should back any case. Apus called on the Espinosa camp to cooperate by presenting any witnesses who could help prove that the 7 police officers had something to do with the shooting, which also injured the sister of the mayoral candidate and running mate, Mariel Espinosa Marinay, and a daughter of one of their candidates for councillor. If they have witnesses, they should send them to us so we can resolve this incident early, he said. Apus said they had yet to determine the motive behind the attempt on Espinosa's life. We are looking into several possible motives. As of now, we cannot establish or ascertain a particular motive, he said. The deaths of Carl Arnes and Reynaldo Culet de Guzman, who were killed in 2017 during the Duterte administration's drug war, underscore the grim reality of police misconduct where those meant to safeguard us become abusers. The Court of Appeals said as it upheld the conviction of a Caloocan police officer for torturing and planting evidence on the teenagers. Culet, a minor, and Carl, a promising young man, lost their future due to a system that permits torture, murders, and the fraudulent planting of evidence. Their lives, stolen in violence, should not be forgotten, the CA said in its 50-page decision penned by Associate Justice Eduardo Ramos Jr. and released recently. The appellate court added that the heartbreaking losses of their lives should act as a rallying cry for reforming law enforcement, enhancing judicial oversight, and ensuring that no further lives are claimed by those who are meant to protect. In its decision dated the 10th of April, the CA 2nd Division affirmed a 2022 ruling by the Caloocan City Regional Trial Court finding police officer 1 Jeffrey Perez guilty of multiple charges, including torture and planting of evidence. It upheld penalties of reclusión perpetua and 2 life sentences without parole but reduced the damages awarded to each victim's family from the original 2 million pesos meted out by the Caloocan court. In denying Perez's appeal, the CA upheld his conviction for the torture of Arnes, sentencing him to 6 months to 4 years and 2 months imprisonment, but reducing the earlier imposed moral and exemplary damages to 50,000 pesos each. For the torture of de Guzman, Perez received reclusión perpetua and was ordered to pay a total of 75,000 pesos in moral and exemplary damages. The CA still upheld the 6% annual interest on the damages from the date of finality and reminded the victims heirs of their rights to further compensation under Republic Act No. 7309. The 1992 law establishes a board of claims under the Department of Justice for victims of unjust imprisonment or detention and victims of violent crimes. Arnes, then 19 years old, completed his elementary school as class valedictorian, finished high school at Makati Science High School, and was admitted to the University of the Philippines for his college education. De Guzman, 14 years old, was one of 5 children of Eduardo and Lena. He was a 5th grade student at Bungo Elementary School in Estela Maris Street, Pasig City. To support his education, he sold fish after school and mixed cement at a construction site. According to the prosecution, the boys were last seen alive with Perez around 10 p.m. on the 17th of August, 2017. The prosecution's main eyewitness, Arnold Perlada, recounted that he saw Arnes on that day in handcuffs, kneeling and shouting "Sasuko na po" before being shot by Perez. P01 Ricky Arquilita then removed the handcuffs, flipped Arnes over, retrieved his gloves and a black item, and more shots rang out. The defense, however, claimed that taxi driver Thomas Bagcal had reported a robbery around 3 a.m. on the 18th of August, prompting a police response and an alleged shootout with Arnes that led to his death. Arnes's body was found on the 28th of August in a Calacan funeral home. De Guzman's body was discovered on the 6th of September in Gapan, Nueva Ecija. Perez and Arquilita were denied bail in 2018. A demurrado evidence was also junked. Arquilita died while the case was pending. In affirming the Calacan court's November 10, 2022, decision, the CA invoked the last seen alive principle, emphasizing that when all the circumstances and pieces of evidence are taken together and not nitpicked individually, these paint the complete picture that Perez was indeed responsible for the injuries suffered by Arnes and de Guzman. To the mind of this court, these circumstances, individually, are not sufficient to support accused appellant's conviction, but taken together, they constitute an unbroken chain leading to the reasonable conclusion that the accused appellant is guilty of the crime charged, the CA said. Perez is also perpetually disqualified from holding public office. The CA concluded its ruling with a firm reminder: public peace is never predicated on the cost of human life. Finally, it is our fervent hope that this case will be a living testament that although far from being perfect, our judicial institution remains steadfast in protecting the rights of those who cannot help themselves, and we will continue to do so, lest the confidence in the judiciary be shaken, the CA said. The Sandigan Bayan has affirmed the conviction of Evelyn Catherine O'Silligan, chairperson of the board of directors of the Oroquieta City Water District, for the 3.8 million pesos illegal disbursements of cash advances. In a resolution issued last the 14th of April, the anti-graft court denied Silligan's motion to reconsider her conviction handed down on the 2nd of December, 2024. Silligan was found guilty beyond reasonable doubt of 4 counts of violations of Section 3E of Republic Act No. 3019, the Anti-Graft and Corrupt Practices Act, 1 count of violation of Section 106 of Presidential Decree No. 1445, the Government Auditing Code, and 2 counts of violations of Article 218 of the Revised Penal Code on failure of accountable officer to render accounts. However, the same resolution modified the amount of her civil liability in SB 17 CRM 0258, failure of accountable officer to render accounts, and Silligan was ordered to pay 850,864 pesos instead of 850,854 pesos in the said case. In convicting Silligan, the court said the prosecution proved that the OCWD suffered injury in the total amount of 3,802,589 pesos when she made illegal disbursements. The court said that Silligan was accountable for the funds she requested and received as cash advances to pay the organizational costs amounting to 1,303,136 pesos, SB 17 CRM 0258, and administrative expenses amounting to 2,042,923 pesos, SB 17 CRM 0259. However, she failed to liquidate 850,864 pesos and 1,322,923 pesos for organizational costs and administrative expenses, respectively. It also said, in her motion, Silligan argued that she did not act with evident bad faith and gross inexcusable negligence in the disbursement of cash advances and hiring of consultants without public bidding because these were approved by the BO of OCWD upon the legal opinion of lawyer Pedro L. Suan. She added that the budget utilization requests and supporting documents were certified as valid, proper, and legal, while the disbursement vouchers were certified as necessary, lawful, complete, and proper by the administrative division manager, department manager, and finance officer of the OCWD. However, the anti-graft court found that her arguments were nothing but repetitions of the same issues and arguments that have already been considered and passed upon back in last December's decision. After a review of the records of these cases and the arguments raised by both parties, the court denies the motion for reconsideration dated the 17th of December, 2024 of Silligan. The issues and arguments raised by Siligan in her motion for reconsideration are without merit, the court said. While she is the chairperson of the BOD of the OCWD, the anti-graft court said that Siligan is not exempt from liability as she is still accountable for unliquidated and disallowed cash advances amounting to 3,802,589 pesos. The 5-page resolution was written by Associate Justice Colby Miranda with the concurrence of 6th Division Chairperson Associate Justice Sarah Jean T. Fernandez and Associate Justice Kevin Nasby Vivero. An official of the National Commission on Indigenous Peoples was shot dead in Isabela City, Basilan on Monday, the 21st of April. Police Lieutenant Colonel Raymond Sanson, Isabela City Police Station Chief, identified the victim as Zarina May Mustafa Malan, a resident of Sisioma Barakit, Isabela City, Basilan. Initial investigation disclosed that 3 men barged into her office and shot her at around 11 am. The suspects escaped after the incident and the victim was brought to a nearby hospital where she was declared dead due to multiple bullet wounds. Messages of condolences and cries for justice filled the fallen NCIP official's social media page. Police are conducting further investigation. A police staff sergeant was arrested after he was seen in a viral video allegedly forcibly entering a home in Quezon City and injuring a minor, according to the National Capital Region Police Office. The officer was said to be under the influence of alcohol when he entered the home along Caragay Street in Barangay Damayan shortly after midnight on the 21st of April and engaged in a heated altercation with the residents. The NCRPO said in a statement on Tuesday, personnel from the Quezon City Police District Station 2 arrested the officer for violating Domicile and Republic Act 7610, also known as the Special Protection of Children Against Abuse, Exploitation, and Discrimination Act. He, the officer, was immediately disarmed of his service firearm and was placed under police custody, the NCRPO said. Appropriate complaints are now being prepared by the arresting officers for immediate filing of complaints to the Department of Justice, it added. Police noted that the complainant recorded a video of the incident and posted it on social media. National Capital Region Police Office Director Major General Anthony Abaran on Tuesday confirmed the administrative relief of Quezon City Police District Director Brigadier General Milicio Madita Busleg Jr. In a press conference at the QCPD headquarters in Camp Kiringal, Abaran said Busleg was relieved for failing to immediately inform him about the police officer accused of grave misconduct that went viral on social media. He may have presumed that I was already aware of the incident, but cases like this should immediately be reported so that proper actions and solutions could be done in the soonest possible time, he said. Abaran was referring to a police sergeant who barged into the house of the complainant in Barangay Damayan in Quezon City early Monday. The policeman was allegedly drunk when the incident happened. While inside the house, the police sergeant allegedly confronted and accused the complainant of wrongdoing, which resulted in an altercation. The complainant also alleged that the suspect inflicted physical injuries on her minor daughter. The incident was captured on video, which went viral after it was uploaded on social media. Abaran said the arrest of the errant cop is proof of their no-tolerance policy against all forms of illegal acts perpetrated by police scalawags. There is no second chance for police scalawags, he added. Deputy Director for Administration Colonel Randy Glenn Silvio was named officer in charge of the QCPD in the same press conference. Silvio announced that 3 QCPD members, including Criminal Investigation and Detection Unit Chief Major Dondon Lapatan, were relieved of their post after allegedly releasing a person under police custody without authorization. He said the police officers took the female PUPC with a case of qualified theft to a hotel for reasons yet to be determined. During the interview, he admitted that a PUPC was taken outside, he added. Silvio said the female detainee was brought back to the detention facility. A man was killed and another wounded in a shooting incident Monday in Tayum Town, Abra, about 2 kilometers from the municipal police station. The fatality was identified as J.R. Tanyura, 27, a resident of Barangay Gadani. Meanwhile, Jordan Calostro Barcina of Barangay Budak suffered gunshot wounds and is in stable condition. The police said they received a report of the shooting at 3:40 p.m. in Sisyoag Damay, Barangay Budak. The police added that Tayum mayoral candidate Kathleen Carano Alcantara reported that her convoy was fired upon while on a campaign sortie in the village. While en route to the scene, responding personnel from the Tayum Police and the Regional Mobile Force Battalion heard a gunshot and intercepted a black Ford Ranger, license plate PX0263, driven by Jomel Barbito Molina, 21. Molina was found in possession of an unlicensed .45 caliber pistol, a second firearm, also a .45 caliber pistol and allegedly owned by Tanura, was discovered inside the vehicle. Initial police investigations showed that members of Alcantara's convoy, which included former Bangued Mayor Ryan Luna, exchanged gunfire with the convoy of Barangay Captain Walter Tugadi. Both Tanura and Barcina were reportedly with Tugadi's group. Authorities recovered several spent shell casings from .45 caliber and 5.56mm firearms at the scene. A white Toyota pickup truck, license plate NFI 4951, bearing a bullet hole, was later found at Luna's compound in Barangay Dangdangla, Bangued. In a statement, Alcantara's camp denounced the attack, describing it as a cowardly act and a desperate attempt to silence democratic voices. While no members of her team were injured, her vehicle was hit multiple times. Police were conducting a thorough investigation and have urged the public to remain vigilant and support efforts to maintain peace and order ahead of the May elections. The shooting marked the latest in a string of violent incidents in the province ahead of the upcoming May midterm elections. 10 police officers are under investigation for not declaring the confiscation of suspected marijuana leaves during a police operation, the Quezon City Police District said on Wednesday. The QCPD said 4 personnel from Police Station 14 are now under the custody of the district's Criminal Investigation and Detection Unit, while 6 remain at large. Those involved are 1 lieutenant, 2 master sergeants, 2 staff sergeants, 2 corporals, and 3 patrolmen, the QCPD detailed. The operation supposedly took place in Barangay Holy Spirit in Quezon City at 2:10 am on the 12th of April, when QCPD Police Station 14 personnel arrested 5 male individuals for illegal gambling. The QCPD said it validated the operation on Tuesday. During the validation, it was discovered that a handbag containing suspected dried marijuana leaves was recovered during the operation. The confiscated suspected marijuana leaves were allegedly omitted from the spot report of the operation and not turned over to the forensic group for disposition, authorities said. Furthermore, instead of filing the case for violation of Republic Act 9165, Dangerous Drugs Act, the said arrested individuals were charged for violation of Presidential Decree 1602, illegal gambling, the QCPD said in its report. Police further said the personnel under CIDU's custody already had their firearms confiscated. The personnel will also be transferred to the District Personnel and Holding Admin Section to be placed under restrictive custody, while the CIDU prepares criminal and administrative charges. At least 674 complaints have been filed against supposed rogue cops in the first quarter of 2025, the Philippine National Police Internal Affairs Service said Wednesday, saying also that these are isolated cases that do not reflect on the 228,000 member police force. IAS Inspector General Brigido Dule, a lawyer, said the number of complaints only highlights the PNP leadership's commitment to internal accountability and the growing confidence of the public in filing reports, especially with the widespread use of mobile phone cameras as tools for documentation and evidence. Data from IAS shows that 2,073 complaints were filed against police personnel in 2024 from 1,897 complaints in 2023. Dule stressed that the figure should not be seen as representative of the PNP's overall performance. It's just around 1% of the total workforce. The other 99% are actually hard-working, dedicated police officers, Dule told reporters during a media briefing at Camp Crame. We will go after the 1% every day, every week, every month, and every year. We will try to go after the 1%, he added. Dule acknowledged that even a small number of rogue officers can severely damage the PNP's reputation. We've solved kidnapping cases, and we've had a lot of accomplishments in reducing crime, but all of that seems meaningless, right? It's meaningless when it's overshadowed by a video of a drunk cop entering someone's home. That's what hurts. The Quezon City Police District on Tuesday said the head of its Criminal Investigation and Detection Unit and 2 other personnel have been relieved from their posts. In a press conference, the QCPD said CIDU Chief Police Major Don Lapitan, a jailer, and a desk officer were relieved from their posts after a person under police custody was able to sneak out of detention. Last Friday, the district's director received information that a PUPC had been released. We immediately conducted a validation and interviewed their chief, Major Lapitan. QCPD Deputy Director for Administration Police Colonel Randy Glenn Silvio said. He admitted that a PUPC had indeed been released. And right now, we are conducting an investigation and we have relieved all of our duties, including Major Laperton, he added. According to Silvio, the female detainee, together with a cop, went to a hotel to meet her family. The PUPC was then brought back to the detention facility. The concerned detainee was implicated in a qualified theft case, according to the QCPD. The Supreme Court on Wednesday announced that administrative charges have been filed against a retired magistrate of the Court of Appeals for his alleged part in the murder of a Cebu lawyer in 2020, acting on the memorandum of Court Administrator Raul Villanueva dated the 24th of March, 2025. The SC formally charged retired Court of Appeals Associate Justice Isaias Dikdakan with gross misconduct for his alleged involvement in the murder of attorney Joey Luis Wee. SC spokesperson Camille Ting said in a press briefing in Baguio City. Ting said Dikdakan was among those charged in the murder case endorsed by the National Bureau of Investigation to the Cebu City Prosecution Office and or the Office of the Prosecutor General. Another penalty for retired Court of Appeals Justice possibly as he won't be able to receive his pension anymore, said Ting. Wee was shot and killed on November 23, 2020, at the ground floor of the building where Dikdakan's law office was located in Cebu City. Ting said the SC has directed Dikdakan to file an answer within a non-extendable period of 10 days. A patrolman was arrested for alleged indiscriminate discharge of a firearm in Cagayan province, the Criminal Investigation and Detection Group said. In a statement on Wednesday, the police identified the officer as Patrolman Gerald Sampaga, a 29-year-old male assigned to the logistics section of the CIDG's Administrative and Resource Management Division. Sampaga was arrested by Cagayan police on Tuesday afternoon, the CIDG said. He was on official leave to visit his girlfriend in Santo Niño, Cagayan, the police detailed. The patrolman was drinking with his girlfriend's family when he drew his issued caliber 9mm pistol and fired a single shot into the air. According to the CIDG, police did not say when the incident occurred. Sampaga was detained at the Santo Niño Municipal Police Station, the CIDG said. Police further said Sampaga was relieved from the logistics section and transferred to the CIDG's Personnel Holding and Accounting Branch pending investigation. The CIDG said it will assist the Santo Niño Municipal Police to probe Sampaga's alleged violations of Article 155 of the Revised Penal Code, which pertains to alarms and scandals, as amended by Republic Act 119/26, which pertains to the indiscriminate discharge of firearms. That's all for this week. I'll see you next Friday with more stories of corruption and foolishness within the Philippine government.